What's up guys, it's Mike with Shallow Reefing. Come back at you with another video, and today my nemesis is back. I've dealt with this my entire pretty much reefing career and I don't know why. So we're gonna solve it with something I've never tried before. Dr. Tim's Waste Away and Refresh. I had to get 120 gallons, two of them, because they were out of the 240 gallon size bottles. So this is gonna be the perfect amount for my tank. The one thing I love about this is you get an exact dosage about what to do. So if anyone wants to read this, I will post it here and you will see that I'm going to be following this 14-day schedule to see if this can be gone in 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people say it's because you have either low nitrates and phosphates, high nitrates and phosphates, a nitrate-phosphate imbalance. Well, I have it completely balanced. You can see 19 nitrates and 0.18 phosphate, which is a 100-to-1 ratio, which is exactly what Claude Schumacher says that you need to have it. And if you keep it in that balance, it should be good. So why the heck do I have cyano? Well, I do have a theory. After I beat back cyano with Chemiclean, after, MB Clean did not do anything, made everything worse, I had to dose Vibrant because I had bubble algae. Now, I had a coral up on this frag rack, which I neglected to dip in a peroxide dip because I inspected and everything looked good. It was a pink pantherzoa that I got from a guy, and I had Aptasia and bubble algae from that one coral, and it kind of went into the tank. Now you guys saw in the last video where I used Aptasia to get rid of the Aptasia, and it has still been knocked back, so I'm not having any Aptasia problems anywhere where there used to be Aptasia, so that's good. And I solved my, bubble algae problem with Vibrant, but I didn't want to post about it because there's all that issues with Vibrant, and I just don't want to perpetuate anything where you should use Vibrant because it is an algicide, so you have to use it carefully, because if you don't, I'm thinking you're going to get you're going to get cyano just like I got. So pretty much I'm assuming, and who knows if I'm right or not, I'm assuming that Vibrant kind of knocked everything out of whack because it is an algicide and knocked different types of bacteria out of balance and things weren't competing properly. And that's where I got the cyano coming back. So the first thing I need to do is manually remove as much cyano as possible. So what I'm gonna do is I might do a quick little water change, like 5 gallons, just to knock off all the top layer of cyano, get that out, blow it off, whatever, get in the water column, throw it into the overflow, and then pull it out with my filter socks. After I do that, I'm going to turn off my skimmer for like 2 to 3 hours, and then I'm gonna dose Refresh and get that in the system. Then I'm just gonna follow this simple guide down here, and all the directions are right here. Follow it to the T. So Dr. Tim, you look like you know what you're doing. Let's see, I'll put it to the test. Also, I'm gonna try to steer away from Chemiclean in the future. I've used it quite a lot on my tank, and I've been listening to people on Reef Bum talk about Reef Bum, Mike Paletta, Sanjay Yoshi, all talking about that, you might be creating antibiotic resistant cyano, which might make it even more difficult in the future if you ever have to use Chemiclean. So let's try to do this natural way first and see if Dr. Tim's has the answer. Yes, the tank is that cloudy. Let's take off the filter. Yeah, you can see it's super cloudy. I've kicked up a bunch of stuff on the sand, blew off a bunch of rocks. I still missed a couple. I didn't want to hit this because that's where that Aptasia or the F-Aptasia was. So we're just going to hope that all this kind of gets up, kicks around, goes over the overflow, and into these nasty filter socks down there. So once that is done, I will give it a little bit to kick up and around, get filtered out, give it an hour. Then I'm gonna start dosing the Waste Away. Okay, so after doing math, I put 5 milliliters per 10 gallons. I have 240 gallons, which means one dose of this is all 120 milliliters. And then I have to dose Refresh again on day 3. Because when I'm talking about Waste Away says I have to do 10 milliliters per 10 gallons. So this whole bottle is 240, so I have to do that once and then dose it again. So I have to, I'm pretty sure this whole set is the correct one and I actually got the right one. This is confusing. I wish they would not send them as a set like this, because it makes it look like this treats 240 gallons and this treats 240 gallons, but they all combined treat 240 gallons. Very interesting. Not sure why they do it that way and why it's labeled that way, but it confused me. But after doing math, I think I have it right. All right, so let's dose refresh. I'm actually gonna pour the whole thing in. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing. Woo! All right, now we're gonna wait 48 hours. Okay, after careful review, this is correct. This all treats 240 because you dose this on the first day, the whole bottle for the 240 gallon system. Then 48 hours later, you dose this bottle, the second thing of refresh. I think they do that to make it so that it's easier for you to dose and you know kind of what you've done. So I just dosed this, which means I can dose this in 48 hours, then 48 hours after that. Once that's done, I will do a quarter dose of this per the recommendations, and then do that and follow the directions accordingly. So I will be back at you in 48 hours when we dose refresh again. And this is the first dose of refresh in the tank, and we'll see what it looks like in 48 hours. Skimmer's off for another hour. 48 hours later, adding the second batch of refresh in here. Can't see it. There we go. And I have the skimmer turned off, and I'm gonna wait. This time I'll probably wait 12 hours and turn on in the morning. And day 3 is done. Day 4 is do nothing. So be back day 4. So this is day 4, and it says do a partial water change or do nothing. And I'm just gonna choose to do nothing. Day 4, down in the books. All right, day 5, dosing waste away. It says a full dose is 1 milliliter per gallon, so 10 milliliters per 10 gallons. And they want you to do a fourth of that dose. So I have about 240 gallons. So a fourth of 240 gallons is 60 milliliters. So I'm gonna put 60 milliliters in the tank. All right, so about to put this in the tank, 60 milliliters. Just turned off the skimmer, gonna wait 12 hours, turn the skimmer on in the morning, and we'll see what this looks like. It might cloud the water, so we'll see what happens. Hey, crazy boy.
Cheese.
Cheese. Yep, you ready to be in the video?
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, don't swipe it. Day 5 is in the books, and then tomorrow I'll do nothing. I'm really curious to see in 24 hours what this is gonna look like after I dosed the waste away. Because this cyan is looking rough. Day 6. Yes, day 6, Daniel. And yes, I know. Day 6, and it doesn't look any better with the cyano. And this is a do nothing day. Daniel, say stop it.
Stop it.
Okay. And let's do nothing today. All right, it's day 7. Time to dose waste away. It says to dose more than your previous amount, so I did a quarter dose on the first one. Now I'm gonna dose a half dose. So the first dose was 60 milliliters, I'm gonna go 120 on this one. I will say, since starting this, you can kind of see the tips here, especially on that Walt Disney. Right there, you can see some recession from the power head blowing at it. There definitely is some stress going on. However, down here you can see my skimmer. This is the third time it's had to be completely cleaned out because, I mean, whatever is going on with the bacteria dosing, it's definitely pulling out more gunk from the water column. You can kind of see, this is my 3rd cup since starting it. So 3 cups in a week period, where normally I might get half of that in 1 full week. So it's definitely pulling stuff out. All right, so skimmer is off. We're building up, doing a half dose. So this will be 100 milliliters plus 20 milliliters. Day 7 is done. I'm probably gonna test my parameters and see the difference between day 1 and day 7. All right, so it's been a week, and you can kind of see my alkalinity and calcium levels have increased. My nitrates have kind of decreased, but my phosphates have increased. So let's see, I have a theory. Because one of the main factors on what you have to do when you're dosing this is to turn off your aquarium pump for about, they say, 2-ish hours on the bottle, 2 to 4 hours. But if you actually like follow the directions, it says 6 to 12 hours or 8 to 12 hours. So what I've done is I turn off the skimmer down here for about 12 hours. The first time I didn't do it, but the second time I did. So the skimmer's been off for probably 24 hours, and I had, well, in total, maybe a little bit more. But I really think that the skimmer, because I noticed my pH level had dropped, the skimmer's done a lot with that. Plus, when you're not constantly skimming, you know, some of the phosphates might be building up. So I think that's kind of what's going on. But you can definitely tell that corals are not looking too happy. You can kind of see the tips, not too happy, losing some tissue. I think it'll be fine, but we'll wait and see. This is day 8, and it says to do nothing, and there's still a bunch of cyano everywhere, and it's kind of making its way up on the rocks now, and more so back there. So the only thing I'm gonna do, and it says to do nothing, is to just turn off the T5s, and then it'll just be running my radions and not the lumen bar in the back. So let's do that just to increase the energy going in the tank so that the cyano doesn't have as much, you know, light source to feed off of. Only the radions on, no T5s, and this is the look of the tank. Day 8 is done. So day 9, gonna dose about 160 milliliters of waste away. And here we go. Whoa, just dump all that in. Day 9 is complete. Try and do this left-handed, I look special. There we go. Today is day 10, which is do nothing, which is good because I feel like absolute crap. I'm definitely sick. This is gonna suck. And day 10, do nothing. This is day 11. Not much has changed. I've blown off the rocks, picked some stuff up in the overflow, but now I gotta dose waste away, and I only got a little bit left, so I'm gonna dose the rest of it. So I'm gonna dose waste away, do a water change tomorrow, do nothing the next day, and at a time release, which I'm not gonna do because I don't have it, but this still isn't fixed after 14 days. Here goes the rest of waste away. And we are done with day 11 of this nonsense. Day 12, and I need to do a partial water change. And I've been blowing this stuff off and it's going in the overflow. I've been collecting all that cyano out, and I still have cyano. I don't know what this partial water change is gonna do. I mean, we can see if it all goes away, but I mean, there's even some back there on the rocks. I don't know. There's no way I'm gonna use this again, but I mean, let's give it a go. I don't know. Let's do this water change, even though I don't want to because I feel like crap and everyone in my household's sick. I'm gonna do a 20-gallon water change and get this thing out. But I mean, you can kind of see my polyps. Yeah, they're not looking good. This tissue on the calitor is looking pretty thin. I don't know. I'm not really liking this too much, to be honest. I was expecting something better than this. I don't know. And day 12 is in the books. And still not too happy with it. So this is after the 20-gallon water change, siphoning up everything. You can kind of see, I mean, you can only do so much with that water change, and it's still there. And I think, I mean, the sand looks better, but I mean, I just stirred it all up and everything, but I think it's gonna come back the next day. Now it even says after doing the partial water change, your tank should be looking better, but in some cases you might need to repeat this treatment. Think about why this is happening. Is your tank overcrowded? No. Are you overfeeding? No. Are you over skimming? No. I'm doing none of those things. My levels are exactly where they need to be. And at $54.99 for this treatment for my tank, which honestly, like, that's like the exact size it needs to be, that would be over $100. Or, I mean, one-time treatment of this is 18 bucks with Chemiclean for the small size, or $32 for Chemiclean. I'm like, I want to do the natural method, but man, that price is kind of hard to swallow. So I will be back at you tomorrow on day 13 when I decide what I want to do. And it does say add a time release gel, but I don't know if I want to do that because I'm just not seeing any of the results. I mean, I don't think it's really looked much better. In fact, the cyano is actually spread onto the rocks, and I've increased the flow, as you could see. Increased the flow and all my sand got kind of stirred up, and I've decreased the light, and I've decreased the nutrients in there. So, and my nutrients are kind of where they need to be. I don't know. All right, so even after the water change and blowing off a ton of it, I still found even more cyano. I didn't get all of it off of here, but I blew off everywhere in the back. And you can kind of see it is just everywhere in the tank. And I'm gonna let it filter out, but man, there's still so much cyano. Man, I couldn't even get to the back corner over here. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just not very happy with... I thought this would be not a magic bullet, but would do better than what it did. All right, day 13. Last day of this, because it says day 14, add time release gel. And you can kind of see, still got cyano. There's cyano back there. I blew off the rocks and cyano is back on the rocks. Cleaned up the sand bed, so I mean, there's some cyano on the sand bed, not too much, but it is the very next day after that water change and doing a deep clean of everything. And I still have cyano, and I don't anticipate this cyano leaving anytime soon. Cyano right there on the rock. So let's see, what did Dr. Tim's really do? Let me go and test my water parameters, and then we'll compare a before and after and see if anything has kind of changed. Now, before I get started, since I did do like a 10% water change and a whatever percent that would be, I'm gonna anticipate about a 10% reduction from this level down to here, and same with the phosphates, about a 10% reduction. Daniel, stop messing with all my stuff. No, we're not opening it yet. Alright, so day 13 of Dr. Tim's in the book. So, this is the results. Started off at 19 nitrate and 0.18 phosphate. Did that 5-gallon water change, siphoning out as much of it as possible, and nitrates kind of dropped and phosphate spiked, but that's because, you know, I stirred up the sand bed. So then after doing all of Dr. Tim's and everything, doing everything that they asked, started off at these numbers and then ended down at these numbers, indicating that my nitrates have dropped barely, mostly due to a water change, which would be 10%, which would drop to about 2. So it did a little bit because I was changing out filter stocks more and I was skimming more, because it did help with the skimmer. My phosphates are higher, but that's probably because I'm stirring up the sand bed and did that multiple times when I did that water change and did the kind of deep siphon of all that cyano. And my alkalinity has slowly increased, and same with my calcium, which means that my coral consumption has decreased, and I even lowered the lights the last couple days just to help combat the cyano, and I still have cyano. So for $55, did this do anything that I wanted it to do? Not really, and I'm not gonna spend another $55 on this when it didn't really work and I followed it to the T. I'm not really gonna put the waste away down there. Maybe the waste away would do it, but I mean, it doesn't come with it when you buy it from BRS, so you shouldn't really need it. I mean, I don't know. I've had so many struggles with cyano, and I've tried multiple solutions, and the only real thing that I keep coming back to is Chemiclean. All right, you know the drill. Chemiclean time. Now here's my thought. This Chemiclean, hopefully everything should be in balance with, you know, all of Dr. Tim's stuff that I put in there. I should have healthy bacteria load in the tank, and hopefully this erythromycin, I think, which is in Chemiclean, is just gonna destroy everything that's in that tank with the cyano. So I'm gonna do my cyano treatment. You already know how to do it. If you don't, go look at one of my mini videos on cyano. I keep advertising this stuff. They just need to sponsor my channel. Like, Shallow Reefing, brought to you by Chemiclean, because you can't get rid of his stupid cyanobacteria problems. All right, this is the tank and what it looks like before I go and use Chemiclean on it. And you can kind of see some of the rocks still have it, even though I did all that stuff. And we're gonna just run and gun and get this thing done, because I'm so over it and I'm so tired of my corals
looking like crap. Yes, that is a Walt Disney. It looks like garbage right there.
And less than 24 hours after dosing Chemiclean, which I didn't even have enough to dose 220 gallons in my tank. I only had enough to dose maybe 200, and it's already done more than 240 gallons worth of, you know, Dr. Tim's is done. I mean, there's still a little bit right there, but other than that, I mean, everything is gone, and it's only been 24 hours. So, well, let's come back in another 24 hours, and then I'll do a water change, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, and after the water change, all the Chemiclean's out of the system, and it looks beautiful. So, I keep trying to find alternatives to Chemiclean, and Chemiclean just is the best for me, honestly. Always have to ask yourself why you're having cyano, and this time it was most likely due to me using Vibrant and, you know, trying to get back some bubble algae because of a pest that I got in the tank. But this is not a video about Chemiclean, this is a video about Dr. Tim's Waste Away and Refresh. So, did it cure my cyano problem? Not really. I mean, yeah, it kinda did a little bit to beat it back, but it really didn't do nearly as much as I thought it would when you compare it to Chemiclean. I still had it on the rocks when the treatment was over, and I still had some on the sand bed, and I used enough for 240 gallons. My tank's really about 220, all things considered, and when I used Chemiclean, I only had enough for maybe 200 gallons, and it was done. Just one dose of Chemiclean. But I would have had to do another dose of Dr. Tim's, and that would put me at about $100 to get rid of cyano when, you know, if I would have used Chemiclean from the get-go, we're talking 18 bucks, 17 bucks or less. So Dr. Tim's Waste Away and Refresh. It didn't work for me, guys. Does that mean it's gonna work for you? It could not work for you. I don't know. Honestly, I just only find that Chemiclean is about the best thing to use. All these bacteria products don't really work for me in my tank, and I'm not sure why. So that means on the next episode, I'm gonna be doing some of that fauna marin, and I'm gonna be sending out an ICP test because I kind of think something might be off with the parameters, and that's why I'm getting all this, you know, kind of cyano and stuff. I don't know. It kind of just happens for me. In the past, when I've had cyano and I sent out ICP tests, all my parameters are in check when I send out with Triton. But, you know, Fauna Marin has this new program where they can kind of track you. So I'm going to try it and see. You know, it is given to me by Fauna Marin. So, you know, take that for what you want. The ICP test was free because I bought all their products. So it isn't going to be sponsored, but that'll be for the next video. So guys, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, click the subscribe button, give me a like, give me a comment below, let me know if you like this content, let me know if you like these reviews. Sorry these reviews are taking a long time because I really want to make sure that I'm doing them justice and giving these products a long time to work. And unfortunately, you know, when you give them a long time to work, you're not going to be pulling out as many videos anymore because you got to actually make the content, and this content's taking a while, but hopefully you guys picked up some insight, let you know if this is for you, and I will see you on the next one.